Hi, Greg Schwem here for FunnyDadInc.com. As you can see, today I am in Washington, D.C. What child's life isn't complete without a visit to our nation's capital? However, you, the parent, have to decide how much information you want to give them before it sounds tedious and boring. So I'm here to give you the do's and don'ts of squiring your child around the center of government. Behind me you see Ford's Theater. There's a couple ways you can talk to your kids about the historical significance of this building. You can say, this is where President Lincoln got shot, or you can launch into a 30-minute discussion about our nation's gun laws. You might recognize that building behind me. Of course, it's the U.S. Treasury Department. Again, how much detail do you want to go into when explaining the significance of this building to your kids? You could say, hey kids, this is where the U.S. monitors fiscal policy, which is true. Or just do what I do. Say, the men and women in that building decide whether or not I should raise your allowance. And they voted no. Washington, D.C. is loaded with statues. Now, when your kids say, who's that, and you tell them the truth, that's Stonewall Jackson, famous Civil War general, they're not going to care. So just make something up. Behind me, Jay-Z. Justin Timberlake. This is the National Archives, where they house the Declaration of Independence and other historical documents. Definitely visit this building if you want to teach your children the potential consequences of touching stuff. Basketball legend Steph Curry and fan of Steph Curry. What family visit to Washington wouldn't be complete without a trip to the White House? Now, when you arrive, your kids are going to ask you the same question. Is President Obama here and can we see him? Here's what you say. You say, he was here. He was giving kids just like you personal tours of the entire house. But you spent too long getting ready this morning and now he's gone. Nice going. If you're going to take your children to the Supreme Court, this is a tough one. You could start by explaining the difference between liberal and conservative and how the court tilts one way depending on who the sitting president is. You could also explain to them the difference between right to life and pro-choice, and then explain the ramifications of Roe versus Wade and the history surrounding that controversial decision. Or you could just tell your kids that there's a bunch of men and women in that building dressed up in black robes who look like they could play Harry Potter's team in a game of Quidditch. All would be correct. So, I hope you enjoyed your tour of Washington, D.C. Check back often at FunnyDadInc.com for more humorous videos and blogs on the funny business of parenting.